Good evening, everyone. I'm Laura Ingraham. This is the Ingraham Angle. Thank you, as always, for joining us. The real chaos agents. That's the focus of tonight's angle. After Kamala Harris's loser campaign of vibes and jibes, and with Trump's MAGA base unshakable even with the trade tumult, Democrats need to find an edge, any edge, against President Trump. They may not have a leader, they may not have a message, but they think they found a word.
When there's economic chaos, no one wants to make investments in the United States.
This chaos seems to be just a game for Donald Trump.
And that chaos is hurting the American brand.
Mark my words, this chaotic chapter is not over.
Chaos, chaotic. These are the magic words culled from a survey done by a Democrat group last month. Now, when asked if certain words or phrases accurately describe Trump, chaotic topped the list with 62% of voters saying that word accurately described him. And now, for lack of any better idea, Democrats' go-to word in any speech or any media appearance will be chaotic. Of course, this is the height of irony, is it not? Because you know what chaos is?
The chaotic and deadly U.S. evacuation from Afghanistan stunned Americans and the world and cost the lives of 13 U.S. soldiers.
Systems we have in place were ignored. Our armed services request for air support. Multiple military personnel saying this is not a good idea. Our snipers asking for permission to engage. Every one of them ignored. These are red flags. Why were they ignored?
Now that's chaos. And the Democrats talk about Trump chaos because of some market volatility. We had people dropping from planes in Afghanistan, the rush at the airport. You know what else is really chaotic? When Biden's reckless spending and government giveaways drove up inflation for all of America and hammered consumers with higher costs.
Inflation spiked to 6.8% last month. That is the highest it's been in nearly 4 decades.
Gas prices are at an all-time high, leaving Americans with sticker shock, and it's not going away anytime soon.
I've had to cut back on shopping because things are too expensive.
Of course, the word chaos describes what was unleashed on America by Alejandro Mayorkas and Biden's puppet masters when they purposely flooded the country with millions of illegals, which Democrats knew would invariably mean that drug dealers, killers, and child predators would slip through as well.
My daughter was just 12. She had dreams to be famous. She wanted to be a famous actor. She was so funny. I really hope everybody can hear my pain. We need to stop this. We need to stop losing our littles.
We're here because we're losing our moms, our daughters, our children to criminals.
And who can forget the unending leftist chaos on college campuses with pro-Hamas protesters taking over buildings, blocking others from getting a real education, everything they did. And even this week, I don't know if you saw them blocking commuters in New York City at Grand Central Station. And let's not forget that Democrats are fine with chaos being brought to the doorsteps of Tesla dealerships across the country, as radicals terrorize innocent Tesla owners for owning a brand that liberals used to love. Bottom line, Trump's trying to clean up Biden's chaos, and it ain't easy. And on top of that, Trump's trying to reset the American economy after decades of economic chaos forced on our working class. Of course, the media's understanding of all of this is very limited, and frankly, at times sounds pretty condescending.
Listen, folks on Main Street have become accustomed to cheap goods from China and other places. TVs for $200. You couldn't get that when we were growing up. The other thing that this president is promising is jobs, right? Is it worth it to upend the global economy for HVAC jobs, right?
How simplistic of all of this. The important point is that putting American workers first, that concept, that's what won the election. Perhaps she forgot that. It's not going to just be HVAC workers, but nice try. 5 million people have lost their jobs to globalization, and more are still losing their jobs every day in IT, in consulting, information services. The list goes on and on. So the disconnect between the media elites, political, business elites, Wall Street, and the blue-collar folks, it's stunning.
Oh, will we please stop this forgotten working class?
We will not, sir. We will not,
I'll tell you why. Because everything is
Only forgotten by the Democrats.
Nonsense.
Only forgotten by the
Everybody
Democrats.
in some shape or form, is part of a working class, either historically, today, or whatever. And every one of us, in some shape or form, lives in an economic environment where we are aware of what is happening in our own areas. But this idea that somehow it's Wall Street versus Main Street, and Main Street doesn't care about Wall Street.
Oh, yeah. Main Street has really felt loved and supported by the Wall Street crowd over the last 20 years. If you looked at the real median wages, they flatlined except for a short while during Trump. So all the finger-pointing by the Democrats should be aimed at their own failures when they sold out the working people and did zero to address any of the problems Trump is trying to tackle. These were their policies. Bill Clinton, remember, he was the impetus behind China joining the World Trade Organization, not Donald Trump. In the GOP, now look, we replaced most of our establishment hacks responsible for that, but the Democrats didn't. And their fake populists, AOC, Bernie, Elizabeth Warren, made bad problems worse by refusing to call out their own party for selling out the little guys that they supposedly champion. And that's the angle.
And welcome to Hannity. And tonight, after purposefully allowing millions of unvetted illegal immigrants to pour right across our wide open border, Democrats, they now are outraged at a new bill that would block illegal immigrants from voting. Wow, I wonder why. Anyway, Stephen Miller will get his thoughts. That's coming up straight ahead. Also, Stuart Varney will join us as one Democratic fresh new plan to fix America. What a great idea. New taxes. Bad idea. Anyway, we'll end the night with the one and only Jimmy Fallon for the other news of the day segment and our viral video of the day. He's going to give us a play-by-play of poor Peter Doocy and his harrowing encounter with the bird on the White House lawn. Also, by the way, told he has a message for Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett, who apparently gave us more words of wisdom today. And Jimmy will weigh in on Donald Trump's plan to increase daylight right here in the USA. But we begin with the left's new buzzword, chaos.
Is just creating economic chaos. And when there's economic chaos, no one wants to make investments in the United States.
And you cannot run a country with such chaos, with such unpredictability, with such lack of understanding of what's going on in the world and the facts. When there's chaos, already damage is done, irretrievable damage is done because of the chaos.
Apparently, the talking points went out, and now almost every elected Democrat and the state-run legacy media mob extension of everything Democrat and radical, they're using the word chaos, chaos, chaos over and over again to describe the Trump administration. They think so out of the box. Anyway, since it's Friday and we're at the end of a very good week, allow me to be very kind to our Democratic friends and try to understand where they're coming from. After getting clobbered in 2024 and watching Donald Trump, restore order at our southern border in a matter of days, also bringing down the cost of everything from energy to eggs, also saving taxpayer money with DOGE, $150 billion as of now, also establishing the most transparent administration in history, while now moving the country towards energy dominance. That means a lot of money coming into the country, getting all these nations to line up so they'll stop ripping you off, and eliminating tariffs, and $7 trillion in pledged investments. Democrats do probably feel an inner sense of chaos and despair. The left failed the American people on a spectacular level. Voters, they rejected their woke ideology. Their poll numbers have never been worse. And if this is not a low point for the Democratic Party, I frankly don't know what is. Meanwhile, President Trump has never looked better. He's fulfilling his promise to you, the American people, one after another, and he's getting results. Take a look.
More than 75 countries have now reached out to the Trump administration, eager to address the trade issues that have exploited America and hurt our workers in the process. The phones have been ringing off the hook to make deals, And these countries wisely heeded President Trump's warning not to retaliate, and as a result, they were rewarded with a 90-day pause and substantially lower reciprocal tariff rates during this period so potential solutions can be achieved.
All right, billionaire Bill Ackman, who was initially skeptical of the president's tariffs, tweeted the following, quote, by doing President Trump's way, the entire world and their citizens got the experience, the visceral impact of what massive tariffs would do to their businesses, their stock and bond markets, and their economies. Now, we were able to learn who are the preferred trade partners and who are the problems based on who showed up early, what they offered, and who chose to retaliate. And I'll add one more important thing. Every country around the world now knows Donald Trump means business. If he says it, he means it. He doesn't issue empty threats. He's constantly negotiating, and he's putting America first, unlike his predecessor, Joe Biden. And now global trade will be set. There'll be a new standard, and countries that rip us off or try to or hurt our people or hurt our workers or cost you money, they're going to be held accountable. For example, just this week, the president is threatening fresh new tariffs against Mexico for ignoring a decades-old treaty and stealing water from Texas farmers. Now, of course, President Trump's bold style of diplomacy, well, doesn't just impact trade. On Saturday, Iran will participate in fresh nuclear talks, direct talks with the U.S. on Donald Trump's terms. Pretty wise move considering the amount of B-2 stealth bombers that are now parked at Diego Garcia within striking distance of Iran, and by the way, also armed with bunker buster bombs. You think an accident? I don't think so. Meanwhile, President Trump's special envoy, Steve Witkoff, he traveled to Russia today for a meeting with Vladimir Putin, while the president now continues to apply pressure. Quote, Russia has to get moving. Too many people are dying, thousands a week, in a terrible, senseless war. Putin should take note. President Trump is now committed to peace in Europe, but he will make life a living hell for Russia's ruling class if Putin refuses to make a deal. Now, Russia's BFF, China, they are already feeling the heat. After steep new tariffs, compliments of President Trump, China's currency is sliding. Now at an 18-year low, its already fragile economy is now hanging by a thread, and Donald Trump has so many more economic tools at his disposal. Kevin O'Leary now encouraging the president to give China a taste of their own medicine. Take a look.
There's billions of dollars trading this morning that I think Chinese companies that are not compliant, they're going to get delisted. I think this new sheriff at the SEC isn't going to mess around. And I think this is important to continue the pressure on China to come to the table. Delist these companies, make them be compliant like I am, and I speak on behalf of every American investor. Enough is enough. And I don't know why this is going on. I'm only asking the new chair, uphold the law. Just uphold the law.
Yeah, great point. And despite all the malignant behavior from the CCP, they still have two choices. They can start being a good trading partner, free and fair trade, or reciprocal tariffs. It's their choice. They can come to the table, or they will experience economic suffering on a huge scale. China does not have any cards to play here. They need access to American markets. And once again, President Trump, he has the leverage. He knew it from the beginning. He's not afraid to use it.
To the monologue. This week, DOGE perfectly exposed government bureaucracy in a nutshell. While working on the IRS website, DOGE noticed the site's login button wasn't in the top right, like most websites. It's a small thing, but DOGE noted it was weirdly placed in the middle of the page. So DOGE wanted to move it to the right spot. But an IRS engineer said the soonest they could do that was July 21st, over 100 days from now. So what did DOGE do? They stepped in and fixed it in 70 minutes. Here's how it looks now. See, there it is. They moved it from the middle to the top. It's a small thing, yeah. But the government would have needed 100 days to do it. To go from there to there. So imagine how long it takes for them to do stuff that actually requires more effort. This is how the government works. Hey, Steve, can we change the website a little? No problem, Joe. I'll have to submit a work order for that, which requires approval from the boss, and then we'll circle back at the monthly meeting for the next round of approvals. Then we'll hire a contractor to hire a subcontractor that will hire a teenager to make the change. Total cost to John Q. taxpayer, $60 billion. But hyperventilated. But when it's no longer on the taxpayer's dime, it gets done in minutes. See, this is why you need Elon and DOGE. A government website shouldn't be harder than translating Jasmine Crockett into English. And this week, DOGE uncovered millions of taxpayer dollars in unemployment insurance claims for people who haven't been born yet, over the age of 115, and even between the ages of 1 and 5, which makes you wonder how many Gerber models go on disability. I gotta say, after watching DOGE surface these crazy numbers, I'm glad I pay my pool boys under the table. That's where they end up. That's where they nap, you sick people. Now, these could be application errors, but all of them? No. Like Kamala leaving happy hour, these numbers are staggering. But in just 4 months, DOGE is exposing billions in taxpayer abuse, and they aren't stopping. I wonder if Elon has anything he's excited to announce.
I'm excited to announce that we anticipate savings in FY26 from reduction of waste and fraud by $150 billion. And I mean, and some of it is just absurd. If people ask me, like, well, how are you going to find waste and fraud in the government? I'm like, well, actually, just go in any direction. That's how you find it. It's very common.
He's right. Finding government waste is as common as finding skid marks in Joe Biden's underwear. Now, you would think a guy trying to save the economy might be handed a key to the city. No, the Dems are just keying his cars. But the fish rots from the head, right, Chuck?
Senator, what's your opinion of the violence against Tesla, their products? What are your thoughts on that? Do you denounce the violence against Tesla products and dealerships and cars in the streets?
I can't talk about Tesla, but Elon Musk is a disaster for America, and America knows it. Look at Wisconsin.
Oh, God. Nice pivot. Yeah, you don't like him either. But instead of condemning violence that he encourages, he yelps about Wisconsin. What a penguin. And his minions are no different.
Donald Trump must fire Musk. 50 days from today, Musk's reign of terror must end.
Elon Musk, you are fired. The American people are firing you, and you must clear out and get out of this office.
It's time to fire Elon Musk.
Elon Musk must be fired today.
Oh, my God. They're like the model UN. Yeah, he's the one guy they want to put out of work, and he's not even getting paid. But I get it. He's accomplished more in 4 months than these hacks have in their careers. He makes them look bad or as unhelpful as the tampons they wanted in the men's room. Now, their outrage may be due to a fear that their own financial gain might be exposed, or it could just bother them that America sees a guy do his job when they aren't doing. But DOGE has created a new gold standard. Take action and get things done fast. No wonder the Dems have created a phony threat that DOGE is cutting benefits to stop us from solving a real one, economic collapse. But really, what they're doing is worse than shouting fire in a crowded theater. They're shouting, I have dandruff, in a theater that's really on fire. And they prefer all of us to get burned rather than be caught holding the matches.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.